There was a cool thing that I noticed. I did a little research on you before, went onto the site, and there was actually a logo on there from Thurl Bailey.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the Thurl Bailey, like played for the Utah Jazz,
Yep.
Thurl Bailey.
Yep, that's right.
So what's the story there?
And I'm feeling
What up? It's your boy Mac here at the EntrePeak podcast, bringing you another story from another entrepreneur from Utah. I'm here with Mckay Galeano from BrandPress. Thanks for being here, Mckay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So just a little background. We actually recorded with Mckay a couple weeks ago, and it just didn't turn out very well. It was one of our first interviews, and we just didn't get the recording down. Spence and I kind of messed up on that, so we appreciate you being back on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
For a second time. So tell us a little bit about BrandPress and what BrandPress does.
Yeah, so the easiest way to explain BrandPress is it's like a personality test, online personality test that businesses can go and do these exercises and kind of figure out what personality they have or what that they want to portray.
That's cool. So we actually took the test for EntrePeak, and it's really cool. He comes up with certain personality types for your business, so you can really narrow down your brand. Tell us a little bit about some of the personalities that come up.
Yeah, so it's based off two principles really, archetypes and personality traits from psychology. And so the first group, people have done a lot of research and determined that, that in a group of people, there's always like certain characters, like there's the class clown and everyone's got that personality in a group. And so they've done research and found that brands do the same thing. And so the first part of the test tries to see if you have any of these personalities or archetypes. For example, you guys came out with a few different personalities. I think there was a jester.
Yep.
I think Spencer had Explorer was his top one, if I remember correctly. Those are things that you guys can, recognize and try and incorporate in your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was the first time that you had multiple people from the company
That's
take
right.
it, right?
Yeah.
So that's it was interesting to see how Spencer thought about EntrePeak and how I thought about EntrePeak and kind of how it all meshed in. So that was interesting, but it was cool to learn.
Yeah, and you guys actually overlapped a lot more than you probably were paying attention to the differences.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff really overlapped a lot. So I don't know if you guys got together and duked it out over the differences or not.
We still need to do that. But yeah, that's cool. So how did you come up with BrandPress? Like, I guess let's start from the beginning. What's your background?
Okay, so my background, I studied graphic design. I worked at agencies, ad agencies and brand agencies for a long time, and learned, branding here in Salt Lake, and then kind of moved on to digital product design. UX design is really popular, and really felt like that was where, my strengths were. UX stands for user experience design.
Okay.
And it's kind of product design as well. There's different terms for it, but basically, human-computer interaction is another term for it. Just the way people use software. A lot of times software is not very smart, not very intuitive, and so UX designers will go in and make it easier to use. And just with my particular skill set, that really is where I'm at my best, I feel like.
Okay, so you have a graphic design degree, and then you got into UX design. how does it go from there? How did you come up with the idea for BrandPress?
It was kind of, I kind of stumbled on it. I was working on digital products for different companies. It was always someone else's idea, someone else's product, you know, that I was helping with. And I really wanted to do something that was my own. So I was searching for that. And at the same time, people were asking me for logos. They knew that I had, you know, done logos in the past and branding. And so I was doing a lot of that on the side. And what I ended up doing was just automating the process that I had come up with at the agency. At the agency, it was all manual. It was all different. And I kind of made it automated so that I could, you know, do it faster. And to the point where I was just giving people a link to a Google form. It's like, okay, fill this out, give it back to me, and I'll do a logo for you. And it was working really well for me, and I realized, you know, this could be the product that, you know, my product that I do. And that's kind of how the BrandPress was born.
This is interesting for you guys because me and Spence, we work full time and we're doing this on the side. And this is important, like you got to pay your bills and, you know, you got to build up your side hustle, build up your side business until it's something that you can actually do full time because that's the dream, right?
Right.
To do that. So you started on your own for a little bit and then you decided you needed to pay the bills, so you had to get another job, right?
Right.
And you're still doing this on the side. How does that whole thing working out?
Yeah, well, this has been years in the making, like slowly, you know, nights and weekends, just tinkering away, you know, adjusting, showing it to more people, getting more feedback, changing it, doing something, you know, trying something new. Yeah, it's a side hustle. I call it a hustle for a reason because it takes a lot of energy.
How many hours do you feel like you spend a week on BrandPress?
Well, BrandPress is picking up now, so I'm spending more time on it. Depends on how many reports come in. You know, 1 week it could be, you know, 20 hours, 20 hours of extra work. And sometimes, you know, it's slower and it maybe only be like 5 hours.
Okay.
But the cool thing is now I'm getting a lot of reports from people that I've never met before. You know, at first it was like I'd have to go I'd like meet someone and tell them to go.
Yeah.
And so I always knew who they were. And now I'm getting reports from I'm not even sure how some of them are finding me. So
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, gotta start somewhere. And you build and you build and you keep grinding and keep hustling. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. There was a cool thing that I noticed. I did a little research on you before, went onto the site, and there was actually a logo on there from Thurl Bailey.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the Thurl Bailey, like played for the Utah Jazz, Thurl Bailey.
Yep, that's right.
So what's the story there?
I worked on the Thurl Bailey logo when I was at an agency. He came in and wanted to brand his basketball camp. And, you know, we ended up negotiating some sort of trade deal. And so I worked with him one-on-one on that. And I was really happy with it. I thought it turned out really cool. So
yeah, it is really cool. Check out the Thurl Bailey logo on the site. It's pretty cool. The site's pretty cool in general. And it has a couple of different other logos. What's one of the other logos that stands out in your mind that you've worked on or someone you've worked with?
I did the Bear River Mutual logo.
Oh, cool.
That was with an agency.
Cool.
And that's probably the most well-known logo I've done. And it was a big project because they hadn't changed their logo in over 100 years.
Oh, wow.
And so it was pretty difficult to try and find something to replace, you know, something that's been around that long.
Yeah.
But that project was probably, the most well-known and probably the biggest project I've worked on.
Okay, last question, and then we're going to jump into the super dope, awesome speed round that we're still trying to think of a name. So if you have an idea, comment below, and that way we can come up with an idea for the speed round. So the last question, what is the #1 mistake businesses make with their branding?
a few things is they don't differentiate themselves enough is one thing. They end up looking like all their competitors, and that might be probably the number one mistake. And then second of all, they just don't take the time to figure out who they want to be and what's their mission and what they're going to offer. They just don't take the time. Sometimes they don't have the time or the money, but you know, in the long run, it pays off if you really sit down and figure out who you are and what you want to be.
So go to BrandPress. We're actually going to do a pretty cool promotion with Mckay with BrandPress. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but go to BrandPress, find out what your brand is so that you're not looking like every other competitor, so that you set yourself apart and you can get your brand down. So, all right, we're jumping into the speed round, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
What social media platform do you spend the most time on your business?
Twitter.
What is your favorite Utah brand that you're currently following?
Stance, Gold Coast Skateboards, Cotopaxi. So there's some other smaller ones too that are really cool.
What do you want to accomplish this year?
For this year, BrandPress is trying to expand into enterprise so we can offer services to agencies. So I'm trying to get the funding and the team together to do that. That's my goal.
Cool. Who is your business hero?
Oh yeah, business hero. Elon Musk. I like.
Okay.
Not traditional businessman, but I love his vision.
One piece of advice you would give for someone just starting out in entrepreneurship?
Be patient, just one step at a time. It's all about validating the idea, really. If you come up with a good idea, just validate it. Make sure that it's provides a benefit that people are willing to pay for, and just slowly build on that.
All right, well there you have it. Mckay from BrandPress. Check him out. We'll link to all of his information below, to his website, to his Twitter handle, so you can go follow him there. And thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. This is the EntrePeak podcast.
Hey guys, Mckay from BrandPress here. Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, go to brandpress.io, type peak in the comment box, and you can get a brand evaluation for free.